Hi, I'm James Mitchell, editor of The Advisor, and welcome to another edition of One-on-One. Today we're here with Stephanie Cook, Mortgage Choice, Lane Cove. Stephanie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, James.
If we could just start off by you telling us what sort of settlement volumes you've written over the last year.
In the financial year just gone, it was just shy of 100 mil. And I was pretty pleased with that because that was about 25% up on last year. And that was partly due to increased productivity, so increased volumes, but also increased loan size. I was pleased with both. So you can't control loan size, but to be pumping up the productivity side, I was really pleased with that.
How are you adapting to all these sort of pricing and policy changes we've seen over the last few months?
Probably like everyone, it's sort of scrambling around and sort of reading all the changes that are coming through as they're changing, but really trying to encourage people to sort of sit back and think before they jump ship too quickly. So sending out messages like, are you confused? Talk to us about about the confusion. We'll see if we can help clarify things before you make a decision that you might regret in terms of jumping from one lender to another without thinking through the ramifications of it. Really just trying to look at the confusion side of it and calming things down a little bit. So just encouraging people to talk to us rather than ringing up their lender as well.
How are you planning to grow your business going forward? Will you be diversifying or specialising solely on residential lending? In
terms of my business, it's very much from organic growth in terms of the residential home loan market. I feel that we do that really, really well. And I really want to focus on doing the best that we possibly can for our existing clients and growing the home loan side of the business as much as we can. We are very, very busy doing what we do. There's myself, one loans consultant in my office, so we just don't have the manpower and the hours to diversify and get into areas where we're not necessarily experts. So we're trying to sort of be the experts in that area. And that will therefore be organic growth. It's not going to be looking at new income streams because there's enough happening in the market as it is for us.
I guess it's a sort of a real time now when brokers can hang their hat on that specialisation and say, with all this happening, I'm your go-to person to sort of help you through this.
And that's what we've always been in terms of sitting down with people, not just saying what they want or looking at what they want to do today, but looking at what their path might be for their property portfolio in 2, 3, 5, 10 years' time and working through that with them. And then, of course, if they have a need for financial planning or other other things that we don't feel we're experts in, we can certainly refer them on, and we will do that. But I can't see myself being all things to all people. It's just not how we work, and I think that specialisation is probably a better area to get into. Feel comfortable with what you do and do it really well.
Mortgage broking is typically a male-dominated industry and continues to be to this day. Why do you think that is, and how can we get more women into the industry?
I was just talking to Jessica, our corporate affairs person, and she said that the mortgage choice proportion of female brokers is about 30%. So I'm not sure what that would mean for the rest of the industry. But yeah, look, it is male-dominated. I know I went to a big ANZ function a week or so ago. I think there were 600 people in the room. It probably looked like there was about 20% females there. So it is very much a male-dominated industry. It's also a much older industry, and I think that's probably maybe more of a problem that needs to be addressed in terms of the age of all of the brokers across the industry. I've been doing it for 18 years. I look around a room and yes, there's a lot of blokes, but there's a lot of old blokes and there's a lot of women my age as well. So it's I think more important that we try to get some newer people in and make it more of a career path that's attractive to younger people. But in terms of what it means being a female in the industry, I've often thought about this, it's easier for us. It's so much easier, it really is. Because guys don't really care who they deal with. Guys really don't care whether they deal with a male or a female. I don't believe, that's my belief. Couples don't care, but single females do care. So we're capturing that part of the market of dealing with single females that a lot of single female clients don't want to deal with a bloke. Because it's a pretty personal thing that they're talking about. You have to really, really trust them. That's how I feel that guys don't care, couples don't care, but the women do, the single women do. So I think we can actually capture more of the market than the blokes can. So I'm not sure why it's not skewed more towards women in the industry.
If you get a referral from a woman, it's a lot stronger than a referral from a man.
Yep.
So there's interesting dynamics.
When we're dealing with a couple, I always ask, to know who we should be communicating with throughout the process. So if Mr. and Mrs. come in, and I'll say at the end of, so we've basically signed up the deal and we know that we're moving forward with it, who should I be contacting? Who's the point of contact? It's Mrs. It's always Mrs. So she's the one who's taking that, well, it's not always, but it's probably a good 80%, and it's the female who's doing that. It's a bit like, they say in the car industry now, it's often the female who chooses the car as well for the family. It's something that you always need to, when you're dealing with a couple, make sure where that dynamic is as well.
Definitely, thanks very much.
Pleasure.